Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host Nathan P. Butler. This time we look at something kind of cool from a region we've only seen a few times on the show, and typically when we do see it, it's because we're looking at VCDs. That's right, we're going to be looking at a product from Malaysia. Actually a product I believe was manufactured in Singapore, but sold on the Malaysian market, just based on clues from the price tag and whatnot on the product itself. You may recall that unlike Rogue One in the US, or unlike Last Jedi and Solo in other markets like the UK, when it came time to have a release for The Force Awakens initially on home video back in 2016, we didn't get a 3D version immediately. Instead, we had this initial release early in the year that was just sort of the regular version of The Force Awakens. And then later on, we had a special 3D Collector's Edition release of the same film, where they swapped out the movie discs with new labels on them, where the one was gone, and then the second one came in that had an audio commentary on it. However, in subsequent reissues of The Force Awakens, they've tended to use that earlier disc, not the one that has the audio commentary on it from the 3D Collector's Edition. Then they also did sort of the same thing with the bonus disc. They removed the original bonus disc, put in a new one with a new label on it that included some more bonus features, including things that were previously exclusive, for instance, to the Target version of that initial release of The Force Awakens. So later in the year, we got something that sort of rendered the earlier stuff in the year completely redundant and gave us a 3D disc to go with it. The first time, and thus far the only time, at least on the US market, where you could get The Force Awakens in 3D on a Blu-ray 3D disc. We saw that before. This is that US version, and you may recall that there's also a Walmart exclusive version of this that includes a little postcard size art print on the inside as well. The 3D Collector's Edition of The Force Awakens. We also saw that a similar edition existed in the UK. This still has the J card on it, which I'm going to try to continue calling by its correct name, the J card on it. Okay. But we also saw that in the UK, eventually there was also a regular release of it that the US never saw. This one here. Okay, we've seen these before here on the show. And this one, you may recall, is literally a repackage of the 3D Collector's Edition because it does have the updated Blu-ray discs to go along with the 3D disc. Well, if you've watched this show for very long, you know me, I'm a sucker for 3D Star Wars films. I still really hope that someday we actually get The Phantom Menace in 3D, which was in theaters on Blu-ray 3D. I really do hope that someday we get Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith, which we know exist in 3D because they showed them at Star Wars conventions, will actually be released on 3D home video. And we know that it was during the process of remastering and setting up A New Hope to be 3D that George Lucas tinkered with it and added McClunky that eventually found its way into the 4K masters of it, even though we haven't seen a 3D release of A New Hope or Empire or Jedi at this point, though hopefully they exist somewhere because that process was at least started. I'd love to see those. I have no reason to believe we ever will see those, unfortunately, because Blu-ray 3D on the US market is basically dead, except for a few companies. It certainly is for Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment. And Blu-ray 3D is still going strong in places like the UK and elsewhere, but there's no sense of how long that will last, given that 4K is becoming so dominant now as an alternative to Blu-ray, not Blu-ray 3D. So, with me being interested in the 3D stuff, I'm always interested in kind of unusual packaging variants and stuff like that, or unusual approaches taken in other regions, and, 3D releases from other regions when there's something kind of neat about them. Well, from Malaysia, we have something that's a little bit of both. A Malaysian version of The Force Awakens in 3D as a Blu-ray 3D Blu-ray combo pack that's a little bit different than what we usually see. Most of the time, if we're going to see something that is 3D plus Blu-ray, it's only one case, it's only one package. Maybe it's got a slipcover, maybe it doesn't. But typically it's all one package. They've done something a little bit different in Malaysia. That, which I lucked into on eBay, is this. Notice it looks a lot like that second UK release. This Blu-ray 3D also includes 2D Blu-ray. Got our image there of the hand holding up the lightsaber, of course, presumably Rey's hand. The Force Awakens, Star Wars, 3D. Got that little Malaysian sticker on it. Down in the corner, Blu-ray 3D. Spine, Blu-ray 3D. Star Wars, The Force Awakens 3D, Lucasfilm. Okay. The top, Star Wars The Force Awakens 3D. Same thing there on the bottom. It's a slipcover. So you're going to pull stuff out of the side. But it's two different Blu-ray cases, neither of which have any words on them. They're what's often referred to in comic parlance as virgin art. So we have this one. We have the shot there of Kylo with the stormtroopers behind him. Rey and Finn running from the explosions. Star Wars The Force Awakens, and up here, the Blu-ray but not Blu-ray 3D symbol, and Lucasfilm. This is essentially the Blu-ray release, because if you open it up, this is where your Blu-ray film disc and bonus disc will be. Now, there's the question. Okay, it's a little bit weird packaging. Are these going to be the updated discs from the 3D Collector's Edition later in 2016? Or just those same old discs we've seen over and over again from early in 2016 that have no audio commentary and are missing some of those Target bonus features? It's the newer ones. It's the updated ones, which is very nice to see. But then you have a second Blu-ray case. A Chewie, we're home kind of moment here. Shot there, which may be a promotional image rather than a regular screenshot, of the duel near the end. And this spine actually does say 3D. Blu-ray 3D symbol, Star Wars The Force Awakens 3D, Lucasfilm. Inside, their version of The Force Awakens 3D disc. Still got Star Wars The Force Awakens. Still got your Dolby Digital, all-region Lucasfilm feature running time. Over here it says Blu-ray 3D, the disc type, but it says plays in Blu-ray 3D player only. You'll find it's kind of funny when we look at something here in a moment relating to that. The back of the packaging, which I didn't show you a moment ago, has information about the film. That same Malaysian sticker, characters there, vital stats, various symbols and whatnot that we need, and the legalese down at the bottom. This one says, I guess it's exclusively distributed in Malaysia by HVN Entertainment. Okay. And if you're curious, as far as the specifications for languages, it says that the Blu-ray 3D has subtitles in English, Chinese, simplified and traditional, Bahasa Indonesia, Bahasa Malaysia, and Thai. The Blu-ray for subtitles has English, Chinese, again, traditional and simplified, Danish, Finnish, Greek, Bahasa Indonesia, Korean, Norwegian, Bahasa Malaysia, Swedish, and Thai. And then for audio, for the Blu-ray 3D, you have English 7.1 DTS HDMA, Cantonese 5.1 Dolby Digital, Mandarin 5.1 Dolby Digital, and Thai 5.1 Dolby Digital. And then the Blu-ray is basically the same thing, okay, as far as the audio options go. The bonus disc, bonus materials may not contain subtitles and all listed as English 2.0 Dolby Stereo, okay. But an interesting, different type of package than we've seen before. We've seen these discs in packages before, sure, albeit, you know, the ones from either the UK or the US or wherever. But to wind up seeing something like this, where it's got a slipcase with two different Blu-ray cases inside, one that's essentially the original product, one that's the 3D product, but not in a way that would have been released separately because there's no information on them whatsoever. They're just stuck in here instead of being in one case together. Just makes for an odd-looking package here. I thought that was pretty cool to show. And one last thing before we leave this, I want to show you the price tag sticker that was on this. Right here. Notice it says RM99. That is the Malaysian currency there. Has Blu-ray disc in 99, but I find it interesting that underneath it says, for use only with Blu-ray disc players, duh, Blu-ray disc computer disc drives, duh, and PlayStation 3 game consoles. Oh, how soon we forget how far into this console generation it feels versus how long it actually has been in real years. Yes, at this point in 2016, they were pointing us to a PlayStation 3 to play it. Which kind of makes sense, because for me, that's actually how I usually play 3D films. PlayStation 3 on my PlayStation 3D monitor, which my son has been putting fingerprints on for weeks now since the last time I cleaned it. I probably ought to wipe that thing off again. Or on a PlayStation 4 with the PlayStation VR, but typically on the TV for me on a PlayStation 3. So good on them for pointing out how you can play this thing, but at the same time, wow, 2016 was still the era when PlayStation 3 is what they're pointing to? Whew. Seems like it's been way longer than that since we had the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Time can indeed play tricks on you. With that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers.